Today on Wide World of Sports, an Easter Monday racing special coming to you live from Sydney's Royal Randwick Racecourse. Grab a grandstand view as the champagne flows and the champions of the turf clash for the big autumn prize money. The top stables from Australia and New Zealand will parade their stars in the galaxy. And those flying 2-year-olds will chase another rich purse in the AJC Sires Produce Stakes. We'll hear what the top trainers have to say. Be there when the hoops unsaddle those winners. And catch all the atmosphere and action of racing's Glamour Monday. Live from Royal Randwick, right here on the one and only Wide World of Sports.
Hello and welcome to Royal Randwick on Easter Monday. Max Walker has put away the hot cross buns, cracked all his eggs, eaten them all in fact. Now he's on the trail of some winners at Sydney's Autumn Racing Carnival, and thank heavens, Maxie, the sun is out. It is a gorgeous day.
Yeah, they say every day is a new day, and what a contrast to Saturday.
It sure is, and I tell you what, just to see all the people coming out here today, they really do love good weather. Get good weather, the crowd responds to it.
Yes, and let's hope they back themselves a winner and have a great day. We're bound to.
After an enormous Doncaster Derby day here on Saturday, our Wide World of Sports turf team has backed up for today's meeting. Let's say hello to Gary Willits, Ken Callender and John Tapp.
Good on you, Ken. Well, the weather god's smiling at last at Royal Randwick Racecourse in Sydney. We've got crystal blue skies overhead, and the track has already been upgraded to dead. And don't be surprised if they go one notch further later on in the day. We've got 4 races today on this abbreviated version of Wide World of Sports, including one of the great 2-year-old races on the Australian turf, the AJC Sires Produce Stakes. I'm sure Ken Callender will agree with me that few trainers have come into this race with a stronger hand than John Hawkes.
That's for sure, John, and I think we'll see the real strategic today. The barrier beat him in the Golden Slipper. It won't beat him today. I hope not. I'm betting up. I think strategic will just relax, settle wherever Beedman wants to put him, and he'll sprint too quickly for octagonal. The rest you can have them.
Okay. The all-age stakes, Ken, March Hare will be a short prize favourite. Looks the winner.
Yeah, looks the winner to me, particularly now the track's pretty good. That'll give him the edge over Hurricane Sky. He loves the 1,600 metres here at Randwick. Beat all but Hariba in the Ryder Stakes last start. Very good horse, March Hare. They're my 2 good things, John. Strategic and March Hare.
Good on you, mate. And the other big one, of course, the Galaxy, is wide open.
Very hard race indeed. I've got a little bit of a leaning to Simpose, but it's a tough race.
Wasn't it a run the other day, Simpose at Rose Hill? Struth.
Yeah, he edged it back in the field because of its wide barrier. It's better drawn today. It'll be off the pace, but it'll have more luck.
21 years ago today, a young and unassuming New Zealand jockey called Gary Willits breezed into Sydney for the first time, and he won the Sydney Cup on a great old horse called Battle Heights. And he was telling me that in those days, Kiwi jockeys were flat out getting a ride. It's a bit different now, mate.
It certainly is, Ken. It's John, it was a big, great thrill. And I said last week, when you watch these boys like Glenn Boss winning the Golden Slipper, stays like this, you just never forget the rest of your life.
No. And wasn't he a horse, Battle Heights?
He was a great horse, yes. I won a Cox Plate on him. He Wellington Cup. He won a Metropolitan when he was 10 years old. Cox Stakes in Perth. He just kept winning.
Gary, a quick look at the 3 big ones, the Sires Produce. Looks a match?
Yes, well, I'm going to go for octagonal. I thought he's just a bit newer than Strategic, but I like the way he got home in the Golden Slipper, and I'm pretty keen on him.
Yep. The weight for age race?
Yeah, well, I've got to stick with Kenny here. I like March Hare. And the other race, I like a horse called Another Victor. I saw him winning the spring in Melbourne, and by gee, he gets home hard. Which
one would you like to be riding if you still had your licence?
I'd say octagonal.
Good on you, mate. Lovely to have you on board, Gary. Gary Willits, thank you, Ken. And to you, Max, we go back right away because we're getting ready now for our 4 race coverage from Royal Randwick. And folks, I hope you'll enjoy top thoroughbred action on the 2nd day of the Autumn Carnival. Stay with us.
Thank you very much, John. Okay, we've heard from the experts, and now I guess it's time to find out what the average punter is planning to do with his week's milk money. And who better to represent the average punter than Simon O'Donnell and Paul Fatty Vorton.
Thanks, Max. Well, you wouldn't want to be anywhere else bar Randwick today. What a magnificent day. And I've got a very average punter, a real good mate of mine, Simon O'Donnell. Simon, it's a special day for us today because we've got a horse in race 6 in the Galaxy called Elegancy. Can he win?
Yes, I think he can, Paul.
Yeah.
I really do think he can. Look, it is a fantastic day, and it's a great day for us, and it's the greatest thrill we've ever had in racing, to run in a Group 1 race. And, mate, let's cross our fingers. And the other thing, They tried to tear us apart, but we eventually got back together.
We're back. What about the 170,000 first prize? Oh,
What are we going to do with it?
beautiful. Oh, we're going to spend it. There's some other very important race today, of course, the Size Produce over 1,400 metres. What do you like in that, Scoop?
Mate, I really think Octagonal's run in the slipper was fantastic, and with a bit of luck, I think he probably could have won the race. We remember Flying Spur went right up on the rails, but I think he'll come out. 1,400 will suit him, and I think he'll win it.
I think he's been set for this race. I don't really think he was a hope in the slipper. I'm with Octagonal as well. I think it'll win. The all-age stakes over 1,600. It's got horses like Durbridge in it. In that, I like Hurricane Sky, trained by Gerald Ryan from Melbourne. It'll be well ridden and it'll go very close. What about you?
Yeah, he was a bit stale in his last start, Hurricane Sky, I thought, but I've gone for a horse called Voting. He used to be with the Johnny Marr stable down at Flemington. David Hayes has now got it, and I reckon Hayes has put links on it. So I really think Voting is going to come out of the blue and win it.
And of course, in the Galaxy, Elegancy's a certainty.
Well, mate, it's a bit hard to tip against, especially. And let's add that the first race here today was won by a horse by the same stallion of Elegancy.
There you go, oozing confidence out here, Ken.
Well done, Fatty. Well done, Simon. Elegancy. I tell you what, you will not see those guys at all if that horse comes home this afternoon. The autumn fashions have been quite impressive among the racegoers here at Randwick. But one look that's definitely out of vogue this year is the old bow tie and braces combination, which probably explains why Ian Maurice has volunteered to stay behind at the sports desk. Anyway, Bear, what do the fashion experts know about real style anyway?
Not a thing, Ken, and you'll see I'm very subdued today apart from... Whoa!
Okay. Race that we see on today's program is race number 3, the James HB Carr Stakes, and Ken Callender has all the mail. Kenny!
Yeah, thanks, Max. Named after Jim Carr, the former chairman of the Australian Jockey Club, and it's a race for 3-year-old fillies. Number 1 Eccentricity is the scratching, ran on Saturday. Marathon, I think she's got a good chance, Marathon, showing $7 on the tote. Tiara at $21. Georgia Bell, $3.30 out to $3.40. All Pair Girl and Hewler Guest are both scratchings. Golden Apt at $10. Symbols, she's nosedived into $3.30, and I've got my cash on her, give her strength. Larry Cassidy, the jockey. Preview at $12. Notable Lady, $26. Food of Love, $15. $26 for Nana Moo. Debut is at $17, and Jan Dorado just over $40. I'm backing Symbols. Gary Willits is with me. What do you think of them, Gaz?
Oh, I really like Symbols in the mounting yard. I thought it looked beautiful. Georgia Bell, I thought it looked pretty good. And the one Marathon, I don't know what happened to it last start, Ken.
Yeah, she got galloped on from behind last start at Hawkesbury. You can forget that run, Gaz, if you like her.
Righto, no, well, I'll stick with number 8. I'll stick with you.
Okay, we're on Symbols. Fatty was looking for used betting tickets or something or other down in the other ring a minute ago. I wonder what he's doing now. You there, Paul?
Interesting race, this one. I'm going for a horse called Golden Apt. It's by Purple Patch, and that breed of horse do handle the wet track, although it's drying out all the time. Lisa Cropp's riding in tremendous form. It's third up from a spell. Looked pretty good in the mounting yard, I thought, and I'll be on it.
Well, mate, you can have it all on your own. I reckon Golden Apt's a lower horse than the Australian Dollar, but I can't go past Symbols. I agree with you, boys, back there in the mounting yard. I think it'll win it and win it well. For Billy Mitchell, train them here at Randwick.
Say no more, Kenny.
Okay, Paul, thanks very much. There behind the barrier is number 8, Symbols. Give her strength. Larry Cassidy just wiping a little bit of sweat off her neck. He's got his whip in his mouth. He won't have it there for long. He'll have it in his hand and giving us a bit of help. Funny thing, some jockeys used to put the whip in their mouth when they wanted to change hands, Gaz. You seen that done?
I certainly have, and the stewards frowned on that. They didn't seem to like that at all. It was a bit dangerous, I suppose, if a horse did fall with you or something. Or
I suppose so. Trouble. There's Preview, who showed promise in Melbourne in the spring, but she went pretty ordinary in a recent run in Sydney and didn't go a lot better in a barrier trial. So I don't want to put my cash on her. There's Marathon now. She's the filly we said was galloped on from behind at Hawkesbury. Mick Dittman was in the press to ride her. Mick's still got a bit of food poisoning. And Group 1 Gavin is in the saddle on Marathon.
And she looks pretty good. A lot of these fillies I noticed have sweated up pretty bad today, Ken.
No, she looks a treat and she's got a chance. The man to call the action in race 3 is Johnny Tapp. Here he is.
Good on you, Ken. Race 3, the first of our 4 race coverage today, the James Carr Stakes. As you said, Jim Carr, a long-serving committeeman of the AJC, and he was chairman. I think he was made chairman around about 1974 and did a very, very good job during his tenure. Now, the last couple have moved up into line. We're just waiting for the starter, Bill Cooper, to climb the rostrum, which he's about to do. Oh, there's Symbols breaking through the barrier. Symbols just put a little pressure on the front gates. They sprang open and she darted through. but she's a tractable sort of a filly. Larry Cassidy was able to steady her up immediately, and the clerk of the course, Mick Stanley, was by her side in a flash, and he's going to lead Symbols back to the gates. If they go too far when they break through the barrier, if they happen to go about 200 or 250 metres, they can take a bit of stopping. But if the jockey can grab them immediately, they can invariably return them to the stalls, and there's no harm done. She looks very calm about it all. Now here's Symbols back behind the line again, about to take fresh formation. The other fillies stand up well in the gates. 1400 here at Randwick, a shoot start. And barrier positions, if you go through years and years of statistics, this is one starting point where barrier positions are vital. There's starter Billy Cooper looking carefully down the line. They're off and running this time, and Preview is a little bit slow to move. Marathon bounced out in front of Notable Lady, followed by Debut looking for the lead. Symbols is right up there, showing plenty of early pace. Georgia Bell is going to settle on the fence, followed by Golden Apt, and then Nanamoo. Food of Love is getting between horses into a handy spot on settling down, and then Preview, followed by Jan Dorado, and out the back is Tayyara. In the run to the first turn, there's not a great deal of pace on, and Symbols actually pulled her way to a narrow lead over Debut. Notable Ladies in third place, a length away Nanamoo near the fence, followed by Georgia Bell. Marathon is travelling deep on the outside of Food of Love, and a gap then to Preview, Golden Apt, followed by Jan Dorado and Tayyara. Tightly packed as they go to the 700 mark, and now there's a rush from Marathon around the outside. She goes up to join Symbols and Debut, and they're going together at the 600 mark. They're a little more than 2 lengths in front of Georgia Bell, who's had a nice run on the fence, followed by Nanamoo, Notable Lady, and then Preview, Food of Love. Golden Apt is dropping out of it and is under heavy pressure, followed by Tayyara and Jan Dorado. Coming over the rise now, and still Symbols has taken the lead as they come over the rise from Debut, but Georgia Bell has now popped the question by Darren Beedman, who looks pretty confident. At the 200 mark, and Georgia Bell has dashed between horses to head Symbols and Debut, and then Preview and Jan Dorado. Georgia Bell is clear with 100 to go. Symbols boxing on strongly with Debut on the fence, but Georgia Bell, hands and heels to the line, is far too good. Georgia Bell won nicely. Symbols wide out, might just get second and nose in front of Debut. Preview close up, followed by Tayyara, Notable Lady. Marathon stopped in the straight, and then Nanamoo, well back Jan Dorado, Food of Love, and Golden Apt is last. Never touched that filly with the whip. He just rode her very confidently, hands and heels. But the most amazing part about the win is the price. She blew like a southerly buster. Number 4, Georgia Bell, Darren Beedman, 380 and 160. It's a photo for second between number 8, Symbols, $1.40, and number 13, Debut, $4.30. Well, Ken, that filly just never stopped blowing in the betting.
No, John, I think most of the form assessors thought that when put under pressure she wouldn't give much, but the way the race was run, she had the cosy run, and she didn't have to get put under a lot of pressure. And as we picked them up there, she sprinted clear. Symbols, who over-raced a little bit early, stuck at it on the outside and just kept kicking back. Good game run, but the other filly, well, the luck went her way today, and there's no doubt the winner will be Georgia Bell. I think Symbols might just grab second. As John told you, the winner has paid $3.80 and $1.60. Second, number 8, Symbols, $1.40, and third, Debut, number 13, has paid $4.30. There's Debut in front in the green cap. Georgia Bell going to her now, the chestnut filly. Then the other chestnut filly with the white blaze is Symbols. The race broke for Georgia Bell, Gary Willis.
He had a beautiful run like that. Nice cover all the way on the run. Here's a lovely shot of Darren Beedman riding Georgina Bell out, hands and heels, going to the line very strongly. The other filly was a good run, Symbols, if you backed at it. It led, and it's pretty hard to do here.
Yeah, well, I just think she over-raced a little bit, and he doesn't have to go for the whip on this filly. She won't give any more, I can assure you. I think I've backed her every time except when she's won. But congratulations to Connections, the Bradshaw family. Win to Ronnie Quinton on Georgia Bell. Now let's pick up this head-on. Out in the middle in the white blaze is Symbols. Inside her, just outside the grey horse, is the winner, Georgia Bell. Over on the rails in the green cap is Debut. But here, they've passed the post, and Georgia Bell was too good. The race went her way. Number 4, the winner, by officially a length and a half, or a length and a quarter, I'm sorry, from Symbols, with Debut only a nose away in third place. And the winning time was 1:25.78 on this dead track at Randwick. On that note, we'll take a break and then come back with more on this special edition of the Wide World of Sports.
Welcome back to Randwick. Let's have a look at the dividends on race number 3. Darren Beedman on Georgia Bell. Number 4 paid $3.80 for a win and $1.60. Number 8 Symbols, $1.40, and Debut in third place, $4.30. Okay, this afternoon the 2-year-olds have their chance to plunder more prize money from these rich autumn pickings, and Ken Callender has been studying the runners in the AJC Sires Produce Stakes. Kenny.
I sure have been studying the runners, Max, and I'm sticking with Strategic. I think he's a fair thing. I just got that out, didn't I, Strategic? Number 1 Octagonal is paying at $3.60. Strategic at $2.70. Daney Boy at $31. Exclusive Halo at $12. Now, Zedrich, trained by Anthony Cummings, could be the upset horses that, if there is one. He'll appreciate the slower tempo that'll be on today compared to the slipper, and he is showing at $11. Burrito at $13. Arashi is at $100. Super Slew is out. Martinet's about $67. Follow Through is out. Pontolas $9, well in the market. Show of Force at $34, and Isolda is at $10. I'm backing Strategic, but Gary Willits, you've already told us you're an Octagonal fan.
Yeah, certainly are, Ken. I like that horse, and I think Johnny Hawkes will canella the race, and I'm a bit your way with Zedrich. I've actually backed that in the Blue Diamond. I didn't think he had a lot of luck in the Golden Slipper, but these other two look pretty smart colts.
They are. I'm backing Strategic. Gary's backing Octagonal. Fatty, what are you doing?
Well, thank the Lord Golden Apt isn't in this race. What a shocker. Look, there's a horse in there that shapes up really well. It's called Octagonal, and just simply it wins. Simple as that, Scoop.
I think you're pretty well right, Paul. I think Octagonal, the 1,400 metres will really suit. It'll come flying down the outside. Cooksley will settle at about midfield. I'm with me big mate.
Back to you.
Thanks, Fatty. Yep. Here at Randwick, there's a while to go before this Sires Produce Stakes. I told you I thought if there was an upset, it could be Zedrich. And the man who trains Zedrich is Anthony Cummings. Andrew Voss caught up with him.
Well, Anthony, a man that could play a big part in today's racing. First of all, with Zedrich and the Sires Produce.
Yes, he ran quite well on the slipper last week. He's done very well on the stable since we were satisfied with his run. Although he didn't earn any prize money, he was only 2 lengths from the winner and did get a bit of interference in the middle stages and at the top of the straight.
And as it gets longer, the better it is for Zedrich, do you think?
Oh, I think so. His full brother, the heavyweight, ran second over 1,400 in a Hobart Stakes as a 3-year-old, and also has only beaten the battle length in the VRC Sires Produce as a 2-year-old. So, you know, there's good reason for us to suspect that he can run the 1,400 metres out.
For the punters watching, how much has some of those Golden Slipper runs taken on gallopers like Strategic?
Hard to say. I mean, really, it's a matter for the trainers, each of the trainers, to make that assessment. You've got to see how they eat at home and how they behave and how their work is. And, you know, you just note the changes and then make a decision as to whether you run. I think the fact that they are here and running and they're being trained by professional people, I think you've got to take it that they have backed up well and should run to their best. All
right, take a look at the Galaxy. You've got the heavyweight running.
Yeah, his recent form has been quite good. The Newmarket was a bit of a blot. The fellow that rode him went to the outside and probably went there a little quickly out of the gates and knocked half the field over. His run before that, however, was over the same distance and same conditions as today's race, and he was only beaten a half length in the Oakley Plate. So, you know, we're hoping he can recapture that sort of form and be competitive today.
Well, of course, Anthony, you've been around horses all your life, and big carnivals, one by one they pass, but it's still a big feeling for you, a big buzz?
Oh, it's great. You know, this is our premier time of year. You know, you're really going to be up and about the place and competitive now to make it all worthwhile, and you know, it's a great time.
Anthony, good luck today.
Thanks very much.
An impressive young man, Anthony Cummings, long been in the shadow of his dad Bart, but the AJC recently granted him his own set of stables, and I think you'll hear a lot more of him in coming years. There's some of the fine fashions here at Randwick at the Easter Carnival. And on that note, we'll take a break and then come back with more on today's edition of the Wide World of Sports. Well, as we come for a second tote update on the Sires Produce Stakes, the story is that Octagonal has held his place in the betting at $3.60, Strategic has firmed into $2.40, and everything else is blown out. Daney Boy now at $34, Exclusive Halo 13, Zedrich $12, Burrito 15, Arashi still at 100, Super Slew is out, Martinet's at 81, Follow Through is out, $10 Pontal Lass, $40 Show of Force, and $12 Isolda. That's the racing news. I reckon Kenny Sutcliffe's got some other news.
Well, I hope you got some good news for me, because Octagonal, I really do like that. It's a terrific horse. I put a bit on Zedrich, so I'm sort of, and if I win, I'm going to put the money on this BMW down behind me.
But I'm on Strategic, so I think, well, we've got 3 chances.
Yeah, yours and mine, Buckley's. Straight up.
Tonight,
Welcome back again to Royal Randwick, second day of the Easter Carnival, and what a great day it is. Group 1 races at the All-Age Stakes, the Galaxy, and coming up next, the Sires Produce Stakes for 2-year-olds. And punters have only considered 2 horses in this race at the moment, and they're the stablemates Octagonal and Strategic. I'm very, very keen on Strategic, but the other boys seem to all like Octagonal. Octagonal is showing at $3.40, Strategic at $2.40. So Strategic is favourite. Daney Boy $34, Exclusive Halo $12, Zedrich $12, Burrito $15, Arashi $101, Super Slew is out, Martinet's one of the Clary Connors runners is at $80, Follow Through is out, Pontal Lass, the second of the Clary Connors runners, and certainly I'd say the better chance, is showing at $10, Show of Force at $41, and Isolda at $12. As I just told you, Clary Connors has got 2 runs. Andrew Voss had a chat with him.
Well, Clary, you've got a couple of runners here in the Sires Produce, and one of them in particular, Pontal Lass, I reckon has got a bit of a chance.
Yeah, well, she's a pretty honest sort of filly. You know, she won it, sort of come from last in the turn and come out very strong. 1400's going to suit her. I've got to hope that the Colts have had a hard run in the Golden Slipper, and I've got the last drop on them being a bit fresh, so keep your fingers crossed.
They've posted the track now as good. Are you totally convinced yet?
Yeah, well, I don't know. The jockeys aren't, because they came around the turn, sort of flew off the fence in, and they were happy to stay out. They didn't want to go back, so they should know better than any of us, because they're riding on it.
Go back to this day a few years back, in consecutive years, 91 and 92, you had Terse and Burst backing up from the Slipper, then to win the Sires Produce. Is there another Terse or Burst in the Connors stable at the moment?
No, I wish I could say there was. No, there's not. No, they won pretty well. They were pretty outstanding sort of 2-year-olds at the time. But no, there's none there at the moment.
All right, Clary, and a quick word too on the Galaxy. You've got Headstrong in that.
Yeah, well, he's a pretty honest horse. First up from a spell today, at Barrier 1. They'll go fast, which they usually do. You sit back off them, and hopefully when he straightens up, come out, get a bit of daylight, and come steaming home.
All right, well, hopefully I'm talking to you after a couple of Group 1 wins today.
Thanks very much. Bye.
One of the very, very best trainers, not only in Sydney, but in all of Australia, is Clary Connors. Horses like Research, Terse, Burst, and many, many more. Okay, here they come for the Sires. TAB number 3 is Daney Boy. He's come over from Perth. He wasn't quite good enough in the Golden Slipper, but he's certainly a useful horse, and perhaps he can earn prize money today.
Number 4, Exclusive Halo from Victoria. He didn't run a sort of bad race in the Golden Slipper, Ken.
Exclusive Halo?
Yes, got home all right.
Yes, he beat a lot more than beat him. There he is there coming around in the blinkers, number 4. He's trained in Melbourne by Gerald Ryan at Flemington, and Gavin Eads replaces Simon Marshall as his jockey today. Gerald Ryan, a very good trainer, Gary.
Oh, very good, and like he's a great horseman. He was a very good trainer, jockey, and now he's turned to training. He's going well.
Okay, well, there's a little bit of lull in the action here at Randwick. Why don't we take a break and then come back and see the favourites in the Sires Produce Stakes of 1995. Well, the jockeys have mounted their Show of Force, one of the roughies in the race, TAB number 12. She's showing at $35 now on the tote, and Glenn Boss, the rider there for Timmy Donnelly, and the last in the parade is the filly Isolda. Shane Dye's mount. There's Anthony Cummings as Zedrich with the Melbourne jockey Damien Oliver. Very, very good rider.
He's certainly a great rider. I think he'll take the mantle off Mick Tippmann shortly, Ken.
Yes, he's a leading jockey in Victoria, former West Australian, and he's sweeping to the top of the jockey's ladder. Okay, the two favourites here, Strategic and Octagonal, we'll see them shortly. Looking at them, Gary, I don't think they've taken any harm from the slipper run. I know John Hawkes wouldn't have run them if they had, but they're an absolute, they look an absolute treat, and you know, there's Strategic now. Looks well, doesn't he?
Oh, terrific. He's a very relaxed horse. Just wandering around here. Octagonal's the same, but there's Strategic right on there. He looks beautiful. He's taken no harm at all from his Golden Slipper run.
And if you watch them in the slipper, we must point out that there's a switch in colours today, because Octagonal's got TAB number 1 and the saddlecloth 1, so he's got the first set of Hawkes colours, the all cerise, and Strategic has got the second set, black with a white star and a white cap. Zedrich, he seems to be hogging the camera a little bit, Gary. There's the long-range view of the enclosure at Randwick. It was widened a few years ago, and all punters can line the fences and have a good look at all of the horses. Fatty Vorton here, still around.
Yes, we're here. The one that's caught my eye is a strapper of horse 9. I think she's outstanding. But apart from that, Octagonal, Simon's never looked better, has it? You're a man who, of course, buys and sells horses. What do you think of it?
Yeah, I think Octagonal looks absolutely sensational. It's done no harm for the run in the slipper last week. But another horse that really caught my eye in here is number 11, Pontal Lass, trained by Clary Connors, and was a very good win at Rose Hill last start. And I really think that filly will be finishing on at the end of this race.
You do love a filly, don't you?
I, mate, do like a filly, and you've got an eye for it yourself. I've known that for years.
What about the pattern of racing, though, today? They don't seem to be coming from well back, do they?
Mate, they're not swooping, which has genuinely got us excited, because we think Elegance will be up there in the front 4 or 5.
Beautiful. Back to you, Kenny.
Thanks, Fatty. I don't mind you tipping Elegancy, but tell Simon not to worry about Pontal Lass in this class. Okay, Pontal Lass just went past us there in the cerise with the blue sash and the white cap, followed by Show of Force and Isolde, and the Clerk of the Courses horse. Right, they're out on the track. They'll make their way around to the 1400-metre barrier. They've got to go the full 1400 metres. That will take them a bit of time. While they're doing that, and there goes Strategic going past, we'll take a break and then come back and see the running of the AJC Sires Produce Stakes Group 1. Okay, we're back on air, and there's number 7 Arashi, one of the roughies down from Queensland. Brian York, the Queensland jockey, is riding him. Right, let's have one more look at these tote prices. Number 1 Octagonal at $3.40, Strategic at $2.40, $34 for Danny Boy, $13 exclusive Halo, Zedrich holding his place pretty well at $11, $15 for Burrito, 100 Arashi, Super Slew is out, Martinet's still at $80, Follow Through is out, $12 Pontal Lass. Now Show of Force $34. I don't think she's entitled to be any longer priced than Pontal Lass or Isolde, and I'd suggest she could be a fair trifecta horse. $34 Show of Force, and $13 out now to $14, almost $15 for Shane Dye's mount Isolde. Okay, there's TAB number 4 all the way from Melbourne, exclusive Halo, one of the Gerald Ryan team. He's around behind the barrier. Gavin Eads is riding him and not Simon Marshall, a late change of jockey. Around at the barrier for Channel 9 today is our honorary clerk of the course, well-known jockey Harry Troy. Can you hear me, Harry?
Sure can, Ken.
Harry, what's caught your eye around there at the start?
Well, mate, it's very hard to go past Octagonal. I mean, he looks like he's taken absolutely no harm from his run last week. He looks magnificent. I like the look of Burrito. I don't know whether he's quite up to these. I know he's got plenty of promise, but to me, he looks $1 million. Strategic, of course, his usual self. He's very relaxed, a bit like Darren Beedman, very laid back and relaxed, and he's going to run the race of his life from the 7 alley. And I didn't mind the look of Zedrich. He's had plenty of racing, Ken, but he certainly hasn't taken any harm from that, and he might run